Fabio Paratici's transfer market mistakes. Juventus are ready to sell. Juventus are continuing to pay for the mistakes made by former sporting director Fabio Paratici in the transfer market, despite the Italian now being employed by Tottenham. Paratici preferred to invest in players running down their contracts by increasing their salaries while at Juve, but that policy has backfired and the club have been left with a number of flops on big wages. Failure to purchase Borussia Dortmund star Erling Haaland and the decision to invest millions into Alvaro Morata's loan have made a huge impact at the Serie A giants. Spurs supporters will be hoping that Paratici does not make similar errors in North London after arriving last summer, although the jury is still out on his first batch of signings. Here, Sportsmail looks at Paratici's market mistakes as Juventus look to claw back some cash and get back on track. This was perhaps the biggest market trap that Paratici fell into. The Poland goalkeeper has always been considered a top player and Paratici chose to authorize his latest contract renewal until 2024 for around £5.5 million a year. Without the push of the former sporting director, Juventus today would perhaps have one less problem at the back and could have bought Gianluigi Donnarumma. After hitting 30, there has been a noticeable and inexplicable drop in Szczesny's performances and he no longer seems to justify his high salary. Szczesny is no longer the goalkeeping prodigy from his early years in London with Arsenal and Turin. The absence of Gianluigi Buffon has put him further into the spotlight. A solid performance against Chelsea helped to recover some of his self-esteem, but doubts about the player's ability to be decisive for Juventus remain. His way of handling pressure has become questionable, and the club's biggest fear is that Szczesny has become unable to withstand the stress of playing for arguably Italy's biggest club. Aaron Ramsey's adventure with Juventus is going from bad to worse. He arrived at Juventus from Arsenal 3 summers ago on the recommendation of Paratici, but now the Welsh midfielder is experiencing a struggle with the Italian outfit in which he has played very little due to an endless series of muscle injuries. During the European Championship, the midfielder had declared that he needed specific physical preparation to perform at his best, but if 3 different athletic trainers failed to bring him back to 100%, perhaps the causes are to be found in the fragility of a former top player who has never managed to play 4 consecutive Serie A matches for Juventus. His salary is among the highest in the squad, but his playing time is the lowest among outfield players. Despite the physical problems that Ramsey has had, he was called up by Wales and played and scored with his national team, training regularly. The former Arsenal midfielder has played more minutes with Wales than with Juventus, 447 minutes in 6 appearances with Wales, and just 378 in 11 appearances with Juventus, according to Opta. Ramsey still has a 2-year contract with Juventus and earns around £6.4 million per year, a figure that is impossible to pay for another 24 months given his lack of game time. Juventus are reflecting on the possibility of taking Alvaro Morata from Atletico Madrid for £30 million, but at the moment the club has no plans to buy the Spanish striker outright. Morata has always been a point of reference for Paratici, who convinced the president Andrea Agnelli to invest again in the Spanish striker after a bad season with Atletico. The next few weeks will be decisive for assessing their transfer strategy for future windows, with Massimiliano Allegri set to insist on buying Dusan Vlahovic from Fiorentina. Should that deal go through, it would close any discussion on the Spanish striker's acquisition. From a financial point of view, Morata's move from Atletico to Juventus was a loan agreement. The Spaniard returned to Turin for 24 months. After the first 12, Juventus paid £8.5 million, and this year they paid the second installment of £8.5 million. The final installment of £30 million, however, risks being cancelled because Morata is considered to be lacking in grit and aggression, fundamental qualities to be able to play at Juventus. As reported by Calcio and Finanza, the contract with Juventus provides Morata a net salary of £4.2 million per season, which can rise to £6.4 million thanks to bonuses. They too are in the dock because their performances have been very questionable in the Italian top flight this season. Reports suggest Spurs would be ready to try to buy the 2 young midfielders who have experienced very difficult moments in Turin. Juventus paid Kulusevski around £30 million and McKennie around £17 million including bonuses, it has been claimed in Italy. Today both are players who spend most of their time at Juventus on the bench and have played very little following the return of Allegri last summer. The feeling is that Juventus have decided to destroy all the transfer market operations conducted by Paratici and that the 2 talented stars have also been put up for sale, trying to get around £51 million in total. His salary of around £6.4 million per year remains a mystery considering his poor performances over the last 2 years, and he can be viewed as one of the biggest flops in the history of the blue club. Rabiot was wanted by Paratici, who took him on a free transfer after 6 months of inactivity with PSG, but his time in Turin has been disastrous and the former sporting director is solely responsible for his purchase. Juventus have no intention of offering a contract renewal with a raise, and at the moment there is no formal meeting to propose a new deal with the French midfielder, according to Tuttosport. His contractual status may prompt Juventus to wait another 12 months before making an offer, as happened with Paulo Dybala, and to seek an agreement in early October 2022. Erling Haaland came close to joining Juventus while he was at Molde, the Italian giant's former CEO Giuseppe Marotta revealed last weekend as he admitted that the club decided against paying the asking price of less than £3 million. Paratici previously admitted that he was unable to bring the young Norwegian to Italy. In the following years, the Italian club has never managed to properly replace Gonzalo Higuain and Mario Mandzukic, remaining without a real number 9. Today Haaland is worth around £150 million, a cost so high that will prevent Juventus from making a move for him next summer when he is expected to leave Borussia Dortmund. If Haaland had become a Juventus player, the club would have had one of the best strikers around. It has proved to be a great opportunity lost by the Italian club as they try to recreate their dominance in Serie A.